So a couple of weeks ago, we were talking with the one and only Adrian Hernandez, and he referred to this friend, Eddie, and talking about SB9, SB10, and all these amazing deals he was getting done. And I'm like, we need to talk to Eddie. So, Adrian, you made it happen, man. Look at you.
Let's go. What's up, Zuber? Super excited, guys. I touched on briefly 2 weeks ago, like I would say the surface level of SB9 and SB10. I'm just getting into. Eddie's actually helping me do my first one, but Eddie has been doing them for quite some time. And for those of you that maybe follow me on Instagram, you guys know that I do all of my flips with Eddie. So all my flips are done with Eddie. Eddie and I have been partners on our flips for what, four or 5 years now.
5 years. 5 years.
And besides that, outside of business, I just got to say, like, overall, Eddie's like my older brother, right? I go to him for advice with life, with marriage, with kids. So we've talked about like having a core group of people, right? And I just want to touch on this because Eddie is one of those people in my core group that I can always go to. Same thing with Zuber. I can go to and I can say, hey, I'm struggling here, help me here. Or, hey, Zuber, does this look like a good deal, right? So it's really important that we have these people around us. So I just want to start off with that. But today, guys, Zuber and Eddie and myself, we're going to dive deep on SB9, SB10, and Eddie's has a handful of them. I would love to know, Eddie, if you can, break down the deals, kind of go through some numbers and really give Zuber's all of One Rental at a Time audience just some good stuff that they can take away from in California.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people in California, right, Zuber?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, whatever you guys need, I'm an open book. I don't hold back. I'll tell you guys the actual numbers, the truth. I'm not going to inflate or deflate anything. I don't.
Yeah. So Eddie, let's go back to that. So you've completed a couple of these, is that right?
I've done 9 of them already. Yeah.
So let's go back to the first one. I always like the first one because that's where you cut your teeth. That's where you make some mistakes.
Oh yeah.
So let's just be honest with ourselves. So set it up for me. How did you find, number one? What was it? Where'd you find it? When did it happen?
So the first one that was brought to me was literally a duplex that the back unit was not legally registered with the city. Okay. So I bought the 2 units, and I noticed that in the electrical panel there was 2 electrical panels, but only 1 actual meter.
Oh, okay.
So I went about it the wrong way. I literally demolished the back unit and built it all without any permits, any plans, anything. Built the unit. And this is not a lie, the day that my guys were literally installing the number in the door, the city inspector pulled up.
That was fun.
I promise. And the guy, he said, "What are you guys doing?" And my guys were like, "Well, we're just working." He goes, "No, this is illegal. You got to tear it all down." Super pissed. I show up. He was, when I say enraged, he was completely enraged, yelling at me, "How could you do this? You have no plans, no permits." So we shoot over to the city. I go to the city and I sit down with the building official, and the inspector is just yelling, telling the city, the building official to charge me 3 times the fees, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward, I get an architect to come out and look at the structure because he was literally telling me, "You got to tear it down. I am not going to approve this. You got to tear it all down." Mind you, I was done. It was finished. I thought that you could call Edison. And the reason why he showed up to my house is because, unbeknownst to me, this is 5 years ago, I call Edison and be like, "Hey, can you guys install here in my house?" And the city planner or the Edison planner says, "Well, we don't have a release for you, but I'll check." I didn't know that they called the city.
Of course they did.
Said, "Hey,
do you know what's going on here?"
Yeah, this guy's calling us to release a meter, but we don't have a release from you guys. Is there something going on that you guys forgot to send us a release?
The paperwork get lost.
Exactly. Yeah. So here comes the city inspector saying, what's going on? "Oh yeah, brand new house." So fast forward, I submit the plans. I kind of befriend the inspector, and he didn't make me tear it down. He actually just made me open some walls to make sure that everything was done workmanlike matter. Sure. And he approved it. And believe it or not, I don't want to say the city because I don't want to get.
That's fine. That's fine.
Fast forward 2 years later, I have built 2 ADUs for him at his house.
Oh wow!
Yeah, no lie. And he's actually one of my close friends. He's one of my good friends. We're very close.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
So that was the first one that I basically stumbled upon it, did everything wrong. Did everything.
That was before SB9, SB10 was a thing, right?
Correct. That was before that, but because that was already a duplex, but the owner tore it down, they kept it as a duplex. So then I started thinking, okay, my cost of construction is very low. I own a small construction company. I'm not big by any means.
No.
I have 10 guys that work for me, so my cost of construction is very low. Okay. So I started thinking, okay, if I could find these houses that have a pretty big lot on the back, I didn't know that SB9 was going to come about.
Right.
So I just thought, okay, you could build if you have enough square footage. Again, I didn't know. If you have enough square footage, let me build some houses in the back.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I started finding all of these properties that had 8,500 to 9,500 square feet. Okay. And I didn't know that the alley access was something good, so they would all have alley accesses.
Yeah,
and
alley access is a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started submitting plans to the city, and SB9 came about. Okay. And I started doubling them. So SB9 allows you to build up to 2 units on top of your actual residence that you have in your house. Okay. So you can have 3 units. SB10 allows you, if you have enough square footage and enough setbacks, to split the lots.
Okay.
So you could split the lot, and on each single lot, you could do the SB9. So you could have a house and 2 more units in one lot, and on the other lot, you have another house and 2 more units.
So let me ask you about that. So is it kind of serial, right? You do SB9 and then you do SB10, or could you buy a big lot and then do SB10 first and then SB9, or is it SB9 then 10?
You could do both. You could do both. For me, I have 2 properties that I've actually done both SB9 and SB10. That I went from literally 1 single family residence to now 6 houses.
So let's walk through the first one of those. Yeah. So you did that in the last 18, 24 months, something like that?
Yeah, I did it. I'm doing it actually as we speak right now. Adrian was there yesterday. He actually dropped me off to the house that I'm doing that now. So I had a single family residence that I did SB9 on, so I could build 2 more units on that lot. And my architect, Eddie Espinoza, he's with VDLR. Actually, if anybody, and I'm not trying to promote or plug anybody in you guys' show, but he is a phenomenal architect. I've worked with him probably the last 3 years. He's actually got to do Adrian's. He's done all of mine.
Is he in Southern California?
He's in Southern California, yeah.
Okay.
Incredible guy. He's doing my personal residence. Actually, I just bought a lot that I'm going to build my home on, and he's doing that as well.
Well, do me a favor, Eddie, just real quick. Eddie, do me a favor, send me a text or Adrian with his, I don't know, phone number or email, and I'll add it to the show notes.
Absolutely. So he was the one that gave me the idea. He's like, hey, man, why don't we do the SB9, SB10? You have enough setback, enough land that you can split the lots. So what I'm doing is I have a house in the front and a house in the back. Okay. I'm going to split the lots, and I'm going to have a house and a duplex in the front and a house and a duplex in the back. Wow. So I went from 1 unit to basically 6 units.
Wow. What are the numbers on that? So what would that look like when you're done?
As far as the rents, or as far as what?
Rents and value.
So the value, I bought the property from a really good friend of mine, Kevin Watson. He gave me the deal about 2 years ago, or no, about a year and a half ago. I bought it for $330. I'm gonna be all in, and mind you, this is my cost of building. It's fairly low. So I'll be all in about probably 600 to 700 grand on the build itself. And because they're 2 different APNs now, because they're 2 different lots, each lot is probably going to go for about, I'm going to say about 750, because you have a house and a duplex in the back, with their own address, their own gas meter, their own electrical meter. Now, water is very different with every city. You could actually pay for the city to install a separate water meter to each unit. I choose not to do that because I'm not selling them. I'm keeping them for my rental portfolio. And I actually split the water with my tenants. So let's say I have, 3 units. I tell every tenant, hey, we're all going to pay a 4th. I don't live there, right? I don't live there, but I'm going to help pay a 4th. So if you take 10 showers and the other guy only takes 1, it doesn't matter. I'm covering his overage of the water. And everyone is super happy with that. Everyone agrees. So I don't come out of pocket. I mean, I come out of pocket very minimal when it comes to water, because I'm splitting it 4 ways or 5 or 6 or however many units I have. I always split it +1 because I'm that extra one that's covering it.
So let's try to, one of the things I'd be interested about, especially in this example, 1 to 6 units, what are kind of the unit configurations? So what was the house when you bought it? A 3-1, 2-1, what was it?
The house was a 3-2,
Okay.
1,400 square foot home.
Oh, so a big house. Okay, decent sized home. All right.
And just to piggyback on that, SB9 allows you to do up to 1,200 square feet. You can't go any bigger than that.
Okay.
Most people like to keep it under 749 square feet because the impact fees are a little bit higher if you go to 1,200, right?
Okay.
So those are the numbers that people are always interested in. What are your impact fees and all of that stuff? So for me, because my cost of construction is fairly low, I like to stretch the square footage because I know that I'm going to get more money on my rents, right?
Sure. Now,
So
is
my
that
unit-
1,200 square feet total, or is that each of the additional 2 units?
Each of the additional 12 units.
Okay. All right.
Yep. So, and for my duplexes, I keep them as a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 800 square foot each. So it's actually 1,600 square footage of living space.
Now, side to side, top
No,
and bottom?
they're together, literally
Together.
right next to each other. Yep, right next to each other. Yeah.
All right. So how big was the lot? It was 8,500 square feet when you
No,
bought it?
no. So that lot that I'm doing this SB9 and SB10, I believe was a quarter of an acre.
All right, so it was like a little bit over 10,000, 11,000.
Yeah, like 11,000 square foot or something like that.
So it's obviously when you're done with 6 unit, it's still 11,000, right? The lot
Correct.
doesn't change.
No, the lot doesn't change.
So kind of laid out for me, right? So is it a corner lot or is it?
No.
Okay.
It's just a regular lot. You know, I wish I would have sent you guys a picture of it. I have a picture
rectangle lot.
It's a rectangle. It's literally a rectangle lot, correct?
With alley access.
No, this one doesn't have alley access, actually.
Okay, so just kind of lay it out for folks. You know, is there like a big parking strip on the side where people get to the back?
It's a long strip of concrete, and all the houses are on the right. So they all park on the left.
Okay, so it went this way. Okay,
It goes down, correct.
Got it.
Yeah,
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Correct. And all of the left of the side is all concreted. It's all concrete. So they park there. And I have, it's a really wide driveway because you have to have access for the fire trucks and all that stuff. So there's enough parking for everybody.
Okay. So you go from, what would a 3-2 rent for if you just had it as a standalone unit?
$2,200, $2,300.
So now you're done with this thing. Not only is the value doubled roughly, if I kind of listen to the story.
Oh, easily.
Easily, right?
Yes.
What do you think rent will be? You go from 2,200 to what?
11,000 is what I'll be getting from that. Yeah, 11 grand.
Which would have only been $2,000.
That's great. So let's kind of wrap this up for folks. So you buy it. You buy it traditional financing, private money, hard money?
So
cash?
I'm a cash guy. I know that there's 2 types of investors, and I respect both. Right? I'm an old school. I was born in Mexico. I was brought up to believe have 0 debt, which, mind you, I know that in our industry is good and bad. Right?
Yeah.
I don't have any mortgages on any of my properties. Actually, I have 1 mortgage. So I pulled 1 mortgage last year just because I have been told by all of my friends, "Hey man, you gotta leverage.
You're being silly."
And to be quite honest, man, I was gonna pay it off, no lie, 2 months later, but I found out I have a prepayment penalty. So I have to
keep. It's just not who you are. It's just not.
That's all right. Yeah. So I'm always been cash. I buy everything.
No, thyself. Okay.
I don't believe in mortgages, but I have nothing against that. There's other people that like to leverage, which I think it's great. Right. But for my mindset, and I'm 45, I can't change my mindset, right?
And it's all good. Know thyself, man. It's all good. So you buy it cash.
I buy it cash.
And then you do the construction cash as well?
I do everything cash. I have no debt. I don't believe in debt. I can't.
Damn, son.
I have a very tough problem. Having any kind of debt that I cannot control. Obviously, I have my cell phone bill and stuff like that. But
that's just expenses.
Expenses. But I don't have any credit card debt. I don't have any car payments.
Well, you realize you're Dave Ramsey's, like godchild or something.
You know what's funny? But I don't believe in what he says, man. I really don't believe in what he believes in. I do believe that you have to be able to leverage. I've been blessed to have Adrian and other people in my life that have been able to give me deals for me to acquire wealth and utilize it in my rental business, right? But if you don't have the people in your life that I've been blessed with, Dave Ramsey's theories, I think, are too extreme. to the point where you won't be able to leverage. I didn't have to leverage, which is why I also think that I possess this mindset of having no debt.
Right.
But
I respect that.
you're not going to get far in real estate if you do not, use debt, right? You could leverage debt. I haven't had to. So
Right.
that's why I believe that I don't fall into that category. But I have a really good close friend of mine, Kevin Messiah. He's been able to leverage his properties, and he has like 27 doors with very, very low amount of debt to those properties because he's been able to learn how to do that. I just haven't had to do it, so that's why I'm in the other way. But I don't believe in Dave Ramsey, by the way, which is
Okay.
hypocritical because I'm what he does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's wild.
Yeah.
So if I were to kind of, I guess, predict whatever you want to call it, the future for Eddie is you're going to be on the SB9, SB10 kick for quite a while, right? Turning something from 2,200 into 11, you can control costs given you have the company. You're just going to keep this thing rolling, right? You're going to, whatever
Correct.
you have now, you're going to do it. If you find another deal, you just add it to the pipeline. Why, like some is good, more is better, right? Is that kind of simply said?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I have two children. I have two twin boys that one of them is on the autism spectrum. So for me, I have to make sure to be able to leave them with some type of stability financially, right? And I think we'll do that for our family. So my goal was to get to 50 properties, and it's gonna sound pretty funny, but I have I think 46 right now. I'm gonna get to 50, but I'm gonna get another 50, and they're all gonna be leveraged, believe it or not. So the next round of properties that I get or that I acquire are going to be, they're going to fall into the traditional buy it, put 10 or 20% down, kind of leverage it, create, $300 or $400 of cash flow for each property.
You realize you're doing this ass backwards, right?
Yeah, I know. I've been told that many times.
Most people, myself included, we choose to leverage first.
Yes.
And then we get to some number. And we're like, you know what? Let's have some free and clear. No, Eddie goes now and a free and clear first.
No, I know. And all my friends are like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that for? That doesn't make any sense, So
you're blowing my mind, Eddie. You're blowing my mind.
I'm doing it ass backwards.
You are. But at least you own that. I respect you for it. I respect you for it. I would be remiss if I didn't ask, because I'm sure a lot of people are thinking now, you must be a trust fund kid, have a silver spoon or something, because if you got these big checks you can write, somebody had to give you all the money, or you won the lotto or something. I mean,
believe it or not, I've always believed in living way, 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 way below my means. I don't, and mind you, again, this is not taking a stab at people that enjoy the fruits of their labor. I'm just a different kind of person, right? I shop at Target. I drive a Prius. I've never spent my money on things that did not create more wealth or more income for my family. So everything I've worked for it. I was born in Mexico. I came when I was 10 years old. I come from a middle class family. We didn't live rich. We didn't live poor. We lived normal, right? But everything that I've acquired, I've done it through the business. I would make, let's say I made $100 grand on a flip. I would save that money, and then when I made, when I got another 100, I would go buy a house.
Okay.
So
tell people when was your first flip? What year or how long
it was 7 years ago. I started flipping about 7 years ago.
So you're flipping in a good time. Let's just be honest with ourselves.
Oh yeah,
right?
I was flipping it at a great time. Oh yeah, 2020, 2021 was phenomenal. 2022 completely kicked me in the nuts. Badly. I lost negatively out of my pocket to cover some of the losses for the properties. I covered $967,443. And I know that number like the back of my head because I wrote those checks.
Yeah, you're losing $1 million. I lost
$1 million. Yeah, and about 12 properties that were all negative, ranging from 20,000 to 150,000 that were negative. Yeah.
Well, the good thing is you didn't have debt on that, so that was
correct.
Right.
Yeah. So I've always been a save. I save my money. I enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie. I do enjoy it to my enjoyment. But I've always believed that, in order for me to get to where I want to get to, I need to sacrifice now because, I want to be free by the time I'm 50.
Right.
That's my goal.
Eddie, explain how you, when you do get paid, how you split that up. Because that's pretty.
Oh yeah.
I live off 20% of my income and I invest 80%.
Oh, that's Shaquille O'Neal put that out there. Like,
Correct.
I
And
don't
it's
know what
funny
that.
that he brought that up because and Adrian has known me for about 10 or 12 years. And I will tell him that all the time. I think
Live
people,
on
I
20%.
live on 20%, whereas the opposite, most people live off 80 and save 20.
Right.
Eddie, most people live off 110%, but that's
Yeah,
nice
no,
of you to
true.
say.
Yeah, and
Ain't
that's how I
that the
can tell you.
truth?
And and most people don't think that, right? Most people say, well, I have a $1,500 a month car payment. Like, I shit myself if I'm like, 1,500, what?
Yeah.
And it's normal. Like $1,000 car payment is a normal thing right now.
Right.
And to me, I can't even listen. $400 a month for a car payment to me is like, well, no, this works. I'm gonna stay with this. But again, everyone is different.
Yeah.
But for me, if you add it up, $1,000 times 12, that's 12 grand times 5 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's just numbers, right?
Right.
But every little bit counts. Every little bit counts.
And
I
this
live,
is important.
dude, you're crazy. That's awesome. Go ahead, Adrian.
This is important too, guys, because Eddie, you did how many flips in 7 years ago?
I started with like 20 or 30. The biggest year I did was 120 flips a year.
120 flips in a year?
I did 120 one year. Yeah.
And how was that? Because a lot of people talk
Absurd.
about, I want to do 100 flips,
No,
right?
it's, everything comes at a cost, right? For me, my babies were barely 1 year old. And I tell Adrian this every single day, and he's probably going to get tired of it today. I tell him, dude, it's not worth it. As human beings, we don't have a limit, right? We could see that with Elon Musk and, Bezos and everyone. We just don't have a limit. And I'm the perfect example because I'm a hypocrite. I said if I got to 50, I would be done. And I just got to 50. I'm like, I might get another 50 now, right? We don't have a limit. So when I did 120 flips, my health suffered, my marriage suffered, my children obviously suffered because I wasn't there. And everything comes at a cost. Now, mind you, I know that money makes the world go round, but it comes at a cost. And I'm not willing to pay that cost anymore. For me, I pay for peace. I tell Adrian now, hey, this guy is, dude, pay him and tell him to get the fuck out of here. Sorry if I'm cursing, but I'm just ghetto like that. I tell him all the time, I go, hey man, pay for peace. Yeah. For me, I'd rather pay for people to leave me alone than to bicker and stress over, whatever the amount is. Obviously, I'm not going to get taken advantage of,
right?
But it comes at a cost. It comes at a cost. And I think you know that, Michael. That's when you shifted from your corporate job to do something that you could do on your terms.
Absolutely. Well, one thing I want to ask as we kind of wrap this call up, we got to do this again, Eddie, because you are fascinating resources. I want to ask, what do you do for yourself? Where does Eddie splurge a little bit? Like, do you go to basketball games or concerts or car? I mean, you don't do cars. You have a Prius, so that doesn't.
No, I don't do cars.
Where does Eddie splurge?
I'm a Rams fan, and that's the only thing that I do. I'm a Rams season ticket holder. I go to all the games, and I'm a foodie. So, if you tell me, hey, like shoes, right? Like Adrian's got like, no lie, like he's got like $5,000 or $6,000 pair of shoes, man. I fucking wear Converse.
I didn't buy those. I didn't buy for the audience. I
know you didn't buy
for the audience.
But Michael, if you told me right now, like, hey Eddie, there's this new restaurant and the steak is like $1,200, I'll be like,
you'd be down.
I'll buy 2 of them.
There you go. Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I'm a foodie as well. Yeah.
So I tell people, look, we all have vices, whether we watch it.
I was just curious. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a food guy. I love food.
There you go.
As you can tell, I'm a food guy.
Yeah. Well, so again, SB9, SB10 is real. You're using it. It's valuable.
Yes. I know we didn't talk too much about it. I realized that we were blabbering about everything else, but
no, we're going to get back and do this again. You're fascinating. Yes. We've got to do this again. But kind of, what is somebody in California wanted to look for lots? What would you tell them to look for if they're going to look online?
At least 7,500 square foot lot is what you want to get to be able to do a good SB9. So you could build a good 800 to 1,200 square foot back house. They're not going to be super close together. Everyone's going to have a little bit of a backyard and a side yard. And mind you, another thing is you guys don't have to pay high impact fees as far as entitlements, your sewer, your gas, and your electric. That's all done. All you got to do is call Edison when you get released and they drop a line for you. Whereas if you're building from the ground up, all of that is like $75,000 to get your gas and your electric, dropped by, the utility companies. Whereas if you're doing SB9 and SB10, you don't pay any of that. It's all free.
Alley access.
Through the city?
Every city, all cities are like that. Yeah.
Alley access a good thing?
Alley access is a phenomenal thing. Most people don't think so. Corner lot is better. Corner lot is even better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other takeaways?
Let's see that. And honestly, dive into it. You know, most people don't know, but dive into it. Don't wait till the right time. That's never going to come. The right time. Get a deal, get your feet wet. You're going to make mistakes, but at the end of the day, it's just money. You're going to be able to make it again. Stress over real things. If you're ill, if your children are ill, those are real stress factors. If you're stressed out over, oh shit, I'm going to lose money in this deal. Hey, guess what? There's like 50 more that could cover that. Go make it up. You'll be fine.
There you go. Well, folks, I think we need to bring Eddie back. Leave some comments below. Do we need to bring Eddie back and just go for the full hour? Adrian, thank you for setting this up. Eddie, thank you for saying yes to this crazy request. I appreciate you, man.
Anything.
All righty.
Thank you.
All right, Adrian, wrap it up, Adrian.
Thank you guys for tuning in. For more information on SB9, SB10, I know Eddie may or may not check his Instagram from time to time, but Eddie, how could they find you?
Shit, my Instagram tag, I believe. Let me click on my phone.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think my Instagram tag is Eddie_Salinas240.
So reach out to him, guys. This was super cool. Zuber, we definitely got to get Eddie back. That'd be awesome.
I tell you. There you go. Thanks, guys.